Hey guys, so today we're going to be working with valve cover. I know some people were asking about the replacement of a valve cover or the valve cover gasket. So this is going to be on an N16 motor. Pretty much they're all going to be similar. There is a little bit of difference, but like I said, there's pretty much a lot that are going to be the same. We'll be taking the intake out, or half of it at least, unplugging the cam sensors. This one's going to have the little ventilation hose up here. We have to take this cover off, remove the ignition coils, but hopefully I'll maybe be doing a N18 motor at some point, N12 and N14, but for right now this is what I have to work with. So let me just show you what are we going to have to be taken out. So we got the two, I believe, T30s that go right here, and then we will be needing to use a little bit of a pocket screwdriver for these little guys right here. Taking the 10 out right here, 10 out right here, loosening up that intake hose to the throttle, and then I'll kind of show you as I work around it. This one doesn't come out. So we just want to get a little bit of a little push where those little guys are, and get 1, 2. Sorry, I'm trying this with my bare hands. Loose, pops right up. Put that cover to the side. We got the ignition coils. I like to use a little flat head and just pop straight up. Oh, of course, that would happen. I'll put that to the side for now. There's an 8mm bolt right here. I like to hold on to the bottom 10 while I loosen that 8 up. So, let's see if I can. Alright, now that I got that little 10 or the 8mm bolt off, this wire is very important to every valve cover on a 2nd gen, probably on a 3rd gen as well, but we don't do very many of those. But on your 2nd gen motors, do not forget this guy. If you forget to put this one back on and ground it, for the N18s, the ones back, it will be back here. If you forget that, you're going to fry your DME. I've seen it 2 times in the past where people forget to do it, and then your vehicle won't start. So, just so you're aware, a couple things. Just get a little pry bar up on the little clips that go around, and that wiring will be kind of out of the way. There we go. These to the sides. I like to put these in order from where they came out. Ooh, that's why we're doing the valve cover right there. Ooh, that's a good one. Hopefully. Yep. This one as well. That's not good. I might have to recommend ignition coils and spark plugs. Ooh, this was not misfiring, but I saw that it was leaking around the outside edge. So that's not gonna be fun. So we got a 10 millimeter down there, 10 millimeter down there. We gotta work our way around the valve cover. This motor, this valve cover actually, these bolts will come out with, without the valve cover. So N18s, all you have to do is just loosen them up. They won't come all the way out because they're stuck within the gasket. But I'll show you more of that later on. So let me start unplugging some of these wires, getting these clips off. This little guy, I use a little flathead to get down in here to kind of pry that, and then I'll squeeze this other side with my hand and gently wiggle this hose off because that is a very fragile hose. So let me get some of this going. A little pocket screwdriver will kind of pull this guy off. Same with this cam sensor. Move all this out of the way so we can get to the back bolts. So I'm going to put in a brief hold and get all that worked out. Alright, so like I do with all air boxes, I just flip them to the side, kind of get them out of the way. You do have to lift that up a little bit. The one that goes right here is a little bit of a twist, but it pops right off very easily. You do have to lift up this wiring cable right here. Just to get it out of the way, but like you saw, I was using my magnet to get these ones out. There is one difference. Like I said, that one that holds that ground wire is right here. With how old this one is, it's probably going to give me a little bit of a fight. But I like to pry right here gently. Get a little bit of a gap there so then I can get another one in and kind of lift up. You'll hear it pop. If it gives you struggles at all, double check that you got all the bolts out around the valve cover, all the way around, and the middle too. So, like I said, I took that little hose off gently. So that's pretty much about it. So let me get this guy lifted off. It should come right off since all the bolts are out. There we go. One thing I forgot to mention is the wiring to the map sensor goes on a couple of these. So remember those wires. So what we're looking for is making sure that these little spark plug tubes came out. I'll show you that in a little bit. Everything is too oily. And as hard as a rock too. Make sure we get those ones out. We have some ones down here that you're gonna need to, they should usually come out with the valve cover, but this valve cover is hard as a rock. So, I'm gonna need some pry tools to be able to get these guys off. Now that we made sure that all gaskets are off, the round, the spark plug ones, and the two that go down to this little, those two valve cover, we are going to have to add some sealant to right here and to right here, so we're going to clean those off. So let me do some cleaning and then I'll show you how to install that new valve cover gasket. This is also going to be a video for how to do valve covers as well. Alright, now that we're looking at the new stuff, so we got the 3 spark plug tube gaskets. It doesn't really matter upside down, downside up. They just go right into there. You sit right in, try and get them as flat as possible. Get all through 4 of them. They sit in there pretty nicely without any force or without any resistance. So, just make sure that it's properly seated. Let's go around. Then we should have 2 of the little ones that go right here for the valve cover itself to the cylinder head. Alright. Now the big boy. So a couple of points on these guys. The little almost 90-degree angle is kind of a good starting point. With that little angle right there, you're gonna know that it goes on the spot close, or this left side of the valve cover. Set it down, and it goes around. You have a little notch right here that goes in this little notch right here. So that's also a good way to line shit up. Excuse the language, but it's hard doing this one-handed when I didn't bring my headband. Plus I'm sweating like a dog right now because it's like 100 degrees in the shop. So work it all the way around, and then we'll go over it again at the very end to make sure that it's all sitting flush and there's no pinches. So, now that we got all that around, this will be going like this. But first, we do have to add a little bit of sealant right here and right back here where that angle is. So just a little bit, and then a little bit on this side. Oops. Enough to make a good seal on that corner where it kind of goes up on both sides. Laying it flat on the valve cover or on the cylinder head, just so that your valve cover gasket does not pinch or in some way get damaged. So I like to start with the right side. Now that it's all flush, we can start the bolts. Remember, this one is the one that goes in the front, that we do not want to forget that ground wire. Just everything by hand first. So let me get all of these. For the ones that go down there, I get a little magnet and then I kind of like hold it as I go down. So pretty much just get it down there, and then I just move this magnet to the side so that it kind of just makes it stay down there. And we go down there and make sure it's in the hole, and then just move the magnet to the side, knowing that it's staying in that hole. And a good trick is don't tighten one down and then go one by one by one by one. Get the bolts started first, all of them started, so that it's all lined up properly. And if you got one that's tightened all the way down, the other 10 or 12 or however many other ones there are may not be lined up straight. So with this, you can be able to just make sure that they're in and then tighten them. So with all the bolts at least tightened, torque spec is 10 Newton meters. So at least when it comes to me, if you got a 1/4 inch, I only like to just make sure it's wrist tight. You don't want to go like full twist. I go wrist tight. Can't twist it with your whole arm. That's good. So as long as it's just wrist tight. You don't want to go all Hulk on it, because I've seen where these valve cover bolts break, and then you're in for a treat having to extract that bolt. So I always go over everything else, make sure that they're all equally tight, because you never know, you may have forgotten one. One by one by one. Just so we don't forget, let's put all these little metal clips back where they belong. And then let's not forget this main one. So here's that 10. Hopefully you guys can see this. I don't know if you can. Get your 10. This is how it broke it off, but this is how I'm going to be tightening it as well. everything back. This little guy slips into down here, and it kind of sits perfectly. You get it right. It also goes into the thermostat hose, or thermostat housing, and it pushes down. Get that guy. Don't forget your cam sensors. All the way around. This guy. So, putting the intake hose, the little one that goes here. Don't forget your 10 that's right here. The 10 that goes up here. And then this cover at the very end. I'm going to speak with the service advisor. Oh, hey, these guys. So let me clean these off and I'll show you how to put them in. Alrighty, so there's these little notches down here. I don't know if you can quite see it. It's right here at the back of the valve cover. There's little notches down there. There we go. These little ears type notches right here are where these little holes go, right here. So you get it kind of just straightened up, and then I put my thumb right here. Now just try to click in. If they don't click in and there's a little bit sideways, there we go. Hopefully you guys can see that that little ear slash notch went into that hole. We got to do it for the other 3. I did clean out the cylinders since they had all that oil in them. Upon startup, they will all get burnt out, but it's better than having ignition coils oiled up. So, yeah, button it back up. There's really nothing more to do. I'm going to do the pressure washer afterwards. Make sure these are both clicked in. Wiring's all set. The ignition coil is back in. This guy right here, that can cause a check engine light. Make sure you screw that guy back in. Put the whole thing back together. But I do need to find out about that. This little guy pretty much just lines up in the 4 holes and it'll click in. Don't forget the 2 E30s that I said it was. And that's how you do a valve cover job. Pretty much the same. I will be getting, whenever I get a N16 motor, getting a valve cover, then I'll show you how. We do usually do the whole valve cover on the N18 motors because the PCV fails and oil starts dumping into the intake, and you'll start seeing oil gathering right here at this engine mount, or the engine mount on this side. So, but it's a whole different engine. But N18, kind of like this. Pretty much about it. Button it up, go about your day, and that's how you do a valve cover. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what else you want to see in the future.